mosquito breeding or chicken breeding center where new young ones are created, new fuel. So, here the breeder means a reactor which produces more fuel, a reactor which produces or which breeds more fuel. Okay, a reactor which produces more fuel or which breeds more fuel. So, that is why fast is because the neutrons are not slowed down, breeder because it produces more fuel. So, how is it functioning? Let us see. It is very interesting, fast breeder reactor, slightly complex one. So, in a normal reactor we keep fuel and we bombard it with the fast moving neutrons from outside, and the fuel will start burning, critical or other chain reaction will start. But this fuel, the fast moving neutrons which are produced, the fast moving neutrons which are produced, it will help in burning the fuel, but at the same time in a fast breeder reactor we will keep some additional material. We will keep some additional material. What is this additional material all about? Like say thorium, see, or even uranium 238. The fuel here may be enriched uranium, this is low enriched uranium is the fuel. So, see thorium, uranium 230 or even natural uranium for that matter, what is found is that thorium, even natural uranium, if you keep in the reactor, it will not react the way we want, because it will not produce enough neutrons or it will not react the way we want it to perform, because we want enough neutrons to be produced and this neutron should go and hit the other nucleuses and it should break down and more energy should be produced, a chain reaction should be there. So, what is happening is thorium as well as natural uranium, if we use as the fuel, it will not react the way we want or it has no reactor adaptability. Okay. It has no reactor adaptability, it cannot adapt or we cannot adapt it for the requirements of the reactor. So, we cannot use thorium as a fuel directly in a reactor because it has no reactor adaptability or the kind of the neutrons which produce, these neutrons are not harnessed properly or we are not able to use it properly. So, we cannot convert a thorium fuel into a proper chain reaction. So, no reactor adaptability. So, since these material or this thorium as well as natural uranium has no reactor adaptability, it cannot be directly used as a fuel. So, it cannot be directly used as a fuel. It cannot be directly used as a fuel. So, what we do is we can keep this thorium or natural uranium as additional material. So, if you keep say thorium as the additional material, when it is bombarded with these fast moving neutrons, okay, when it is bombarded with fast moving neutrons, this thorium will be converted into say uranium 233 or uranium thorium oxide, uranium thorium carbide, etc. Uranium thorium oxide or uranium thorium carbide, which can be used in a reactor. So, I am repeating, normally we keep fuel bombard it with fast moving neutrons, allow a chain reaction to start, and it will burn completely, it will produce energy. So, when these burning take place, heat energy is produced, heat energy is tapped by the coolant, the water circulating surrounding the reactor, and that heat energy is converted into electricity, or the heat energy is used for convert water into steam, and the steam will run the turbine and electricity is produced. That is the normal thing. That is a normal pressurized heavy water reactor. But now, in a fast breeder reactor, we are not slowing down the fast moving neutrons, we are keeping the fuel the way we are keeping, the same low enriched uranium is kept, chain reaction starts, and along with the fuel we are also keeping some additional material like thorium or natural uranium. When it is bombarded with this fast moving neutrons, this thorium is converted into uranium 233 or into uranium thorium oxide or into uranium thorium carbide, etc. Similarly, if you are keeping natural uranium, it may convert into uranium plutonium oxide, uranium plutonium carbide, or just plutonium 239, 240, etc. Okay. So, when this additional material is kept and when it is bombarded with fast moving neutrons, they are not acting as a fuel, but this additional material is converted into either uranium 233 or uranium thorium oxide, carbide, etc. If thorium is kept, if natural uranium is kept, it is converted into uranium plutonium oxide or uranium plutonium carbide or plutonium 239, 40, etc., which can be reprocessed and taken as a converted into fuel. So, this additional material kept inside the reactor, after the reaction is over, it will come out as part of the spent fuel, it will be part of the spent fuel, and this spent fuel can be reprocessed. The spent fuel can be reprocessed, and after reprocessing we can take out this uranium 233 or uranium plutonium carbide, uranium thorium oxide, etc. separately, which can be used as a fuel. So, this is a new fuel, U233 is the new fuel now. So, this reactor has produced more fuel. The reactor has helped in breeding new fuel. That is why we call it as a breeder reactor. So, the again please see, I am repeating this: normal fuel, additional material is kept in the same reactor environment. So, because of that, the additional material, that is thorium or natural uranium, is converted because of the bombardment of this with the fast moving neutrons, and the converted material as which is part of the spent fuel can be reprocessed, and the reprocessed stuff can help us in getting new fuel, additional fuel, and we call it as a breeder reactor. So, now we are constructing a fast breeder test reactor, or we have a fast breeder test reactor at Kalpakam. We are using uranium, okay, we are using uranium plutonium carbide as the fuel. %70 uranium and 30% 70% plutonium, uranium carbide 30%, plutonium carbide 70%, plutonium carbide 70%. We are using this as the fuel, and again we are keeping additional thorium inside. We are keeping additional thorium inside. So, this fast breeder test reactor, it produces 40 megawatts of electricity or thermal energy, plus it converts thorium into uranium, thorium carbide, uranium 233, etc. and 40 megawatt of thermal energy and 13.2 megawatts of electric energy, okay, and 40 megawatts of thermal energy and 13.2 megawatts of electric energy. So, we are keeping thorium bundles inside, okay. Along with this we are also keeping thorium bundles. So, uranium carbide 30%, plutonium carbide 70% as the fuel. We are keeping additional thorium inside, and this thorium will convert it into uranium 233 as uranium thorium carbide, etc., which will be useful as a fuel in future, which can be reprocessed and taken it. So, this reactor is set up at Kalpakam. Fast breeder slide again. This is what I am saying, fast breeder reactor. It is fast. Why? Because no moderator is required, because already plenty of additional stuff is kept inside. So, no moderator there, that is why it is fast. Breeder, because it is breeding more fuel. Then I said that fast moving neutrons, bombard it with the on the fuel with in a normal fuel. So, there when the fast moving neutrons are flying around, it will go and hit the additional material also, it will convert that additional material into useful material, like uranium 233 is produced if you are keeping thorium. So, that is what precisely I have said. So, it will not, so this thorium or natural uranium, etc., it will not react the way we want to perform. We want the reaction to take place in a reactor if you keep it as a fuel. So, it cannot be used as a fuel directly, but it can be reprocessed and we take out uranium 233, uranium thorium oxide, uranium thorium carbide, etc. So, it is breeding new fuel. So, in Kalpakam we are doing it. So, in Kalpakam reactor, the fast breeder test reactor, we are using uranium plutonium carbide as the fuel, uranium carbide 30%, plutonium carbide 70% as the fuel. Thorium is additionally kept, and that thorium is converted into uranium 233 and uranium 233 carbide also. Along with that, it is also producing 13.2 megawatts of electricity. So, it is producing electricity plus fuel. That is the advantage of this fast breeder test reactor. So, it is functional, it is functioning. So, this fast breeder test reactors uranium 233. So, please see fast breeder test reactor FBTR, 13.2 megawatt of electricity, plus it is producing uranium 233, and this uranium 233 is used in Kamini as the fuel. I said when I was talking about Kamini, Kamini is the only research reactor in the world which is using uranium 233 as the fuel. From where you are getting uranium 233? That uranium 233 is coming from the fast breeder test reactor, that is also located in Kalpakam. So, two reactors in Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, one is fast breeder test reactor, another is Kamini. So, what is produced from fast breeder test reactor is used to run Kalpakam Mini, which is using uranium 233 as the fuel. I hope you understood this. So, these are the research reactors in India. So, these are the research reactors available in India. I hope there is clarity. Now, let us come to, so let me just clarify all the reactors. Okay, these are research reactors I said. Now, power reactors in India. Power generating reactors, that is why power reactors I am saying. So, in 1950s we had a couple of reactors we developed, or rather we got it from outside, one from UK, another from Canada. So, the first reactor, the first power reactor was set up at Tarapur. So, the first reactor was set up at Tarapur. Tarapur is in Maharashtra. It was in 1969. It is by a US company. Okay. And they managed to set up, or rather as part of our agreement, they set up 2 into 160 megawatt BWR, boiling water reactors at Tarapur. So, boiling water. Low enriched fuel, sorry, low enriched uranium is the fuel. Boiling water, heavy water, it use heavy water. But it is allowed to boil, it is not pressurized, not pressurized. It is not pressurized. So, it is allowed to boil, the coolant is allowed to boil. Heavy water, the coolant so no pressure applied. So, what is the problem? It is less efficient, it is one of the earliest design. One of the earliest design. Coolant is allowed to boil, that means when water boils, the steam has less heat absorbing capacity. The steam has less heat absorbing capacity. So, it is less efficient, we can safely conclude that it is less efficient. Boiling water reactors are one of the earliest designs. See, in Fukushima, I hope you remember, in 2012 there was a nuclear accident in Japan. After a tsunami, and these Fukushima reactors of Japan, they were the old boiling water reactors. They were all boiling water reactors, old design, many flaws were there, many we have subsequently improved the design many fold, and lot of safeguards are introduced, but unfortunately no safeguards in it. That is why ended up with an accident. So, in the boiling water reactors, same thing, not much difference. Same, you see, reactor, water is circulating the reactor case, and slowly this water is becoming steam. Surrounding that, that steam is taken to run the turbine, and again condenser is used. Condenser will condense the steam back to water, cool it, send back to the reactor, again get heated up. So, that is, so the water circulating the reactor is converted into steam. So, the water circulating the reactor is converted to steam. So, less efficient. Boiling water reactor, otherwise everything is same. The only difference is, so in a pressurized heavy water reactor, the only difference from this, ab dekho, the only difference is this. The water circulating the reactor is not converted into steam, it is pressurized and allowed to become superheated water, and then there is a condenser. Steam generator is separate. There is a separate steam generator, and the steam generator will generate steam, and that steam generator will run the turbine. So, two sets of water, but in this there is only one set of water. Only one set, it is straight away converting into steam. So, it is an old design, less efficiency, and that is how we have done it. So, please remember this boiling water reactor, the first one 1969, US made, and once India refused to sign NPT in 1970, India refused. When India refused to sign NPT, the USA also backed out in the fuel supply and all. So, but it is still functional, Tarapur. So, the oldest and the first reactor research, the first power reactor of India, boiling water reactor. Then we approached Canada at that time itself. So, at Rawatbhatta, near Kota, Rajasthan, Rawatbhatta near Kota in Rajasthan, we have set up with the help of Canada a pressurized heavy water reactors of 220 megawatt. Okay. As I told, the difference here in pressurized heavy water reactors, everything is same, fuel is low enriched uranium, D2O as moderator, coolant, heavy water, D2O, deuterium oxide. Water is not allowed to boil. The superheated water can go up temperature up to 300 degrees Celsius. So, that is how pressurized heavy water reactors are there in India. And not only pressurized heavy water reactors are there in Rawatbhatta, then Canada withdrew because of a nuclear explosion in 1970s. We made it critical, or rather these reactors have gone critical. Rawatbhatta. Then we have constructed this in Kalpakam. Then we have constructed in Narora, UP, Bulandshahr, east of Delhi, pressurized heavy water reactor. Then we have constructed in Kakrapara, Gujarat, pressurized heavy water reactor. Then in Kaiga, Karnataka, pressurized heavy water reactors. So, in Rawatbhatta, in Kalpakam, Narora, Kakrapara, Kaiga, these are 5 places where pressurized heavy water reactors of 220 megawatt capacity. It is 220 because that is what we learned from Canadians. Canada was developing, constructing it. Canada left the project in between after we conducted the test. So, we took up the challenge. Our Indian scientists completed the project. Now, we are masters in pressurized heavy water reactors of 220 megawatt. Subsequently, I think by 2010, we managed to construct 540 megawatt pressurized heavy water reactors, 2 of them into 2 at Tarapur. So, 2 more added, but 540 megawatts at pressure heavy water reactors at Tarapur. Earlier ones were 220 megawatt. Now, we are developing 700 megawatt pressure heavy water reactors. Now, we are in the process of developing 700 megawatt pressurized heavy water. So, we have boiling water reactors of 160 megawatts, pressurized heavy water reactors from Canada what we got was 220 megawatts, 540 megawatts we have already constructed at Tarapur, many more we are developing 700 megawatts each. So, these are pressurized heavy water reactors. Then as I was already mentioning, we are already in the process of constructing a prototype fast breeder reactor, PFBR. So, we are in the process of constructing a prototype, that means a model for the fast breeder reactor again at Kalpakam. See, we do not confuse this with fast breeder test reactor, that is already there. Some 13 megawatt electricity produced, 40 megawatt thermal energy, fast breeder